Today I wanted to talk about something that I ended my last video with. My last video, I talked about being depressed the first 3 months of being in China for the first time. Now, remember, this is my first time of living across the other side of the world. I was living by myself because my husband at the time, he was living in Wuhan. I was living like an hour to an hour and a half outside of the city, the big city. So I was living in a smaller town. I think the population was 1 million people based on what I know so far. And based on what I remember, it was like 1 million people. And when I first got there, most people were like, oh, you're the only foreigner. And I really believed it because I didn't see any other foreigners the entire time I lived there. Actually, not until maybe a couple months before I left, I saw the first foreigner. He was actually working around the corner from where I was working, but he didn't I didn't see him. I didn't see him before. When I saw him, he said he always traveled out of the city every weekend or almost every weekend because there was nothing to do in our city. It was like so small. 1 million people is not a lot. Every single Chinese you meet, they would be like, oh, they've never seen a foreigner before. So they will stop and stare, like literally stop whatever they're doing and stare. They might be riding a scooter, they will stop and look back, riding forward, look back at me. And it's like almost get into accidents and stuff. So it was really uncomfortable at times because knowing that you live in a small city is not that fun. At first, hear me out. At first, it was cool. It was fun because it was like, oh, I feel like a celebrity. I feel like, ooh, everybody trying to take pictures of you. It's kind of cute, kind of fun at first, and then it gets old because it's like, okay, get over yourselves. But it's different people having the same reaction. So it's different people who've never seen me before. And I used to walk everywhere in that city. I used to walk to go to the grocery store. I used to walk to go to the bank. I used to walk to just explore. I used to walk to the shopping mall. I used to walk everywhere. And um, every little restaurant you want to go to hang out with your friends, you have to walk. And when these Chinese people see you, they're like, it's the first time a lot of them are seeing you. So it's always like a novelty for them and they want to take pictures, video, talk to you in Chinese. And for some of them, they've never seen a foreigner or they've never seen a black person before. Anyways, I wasn't really the only foreigner in that city, obviously, because I told you already there was one that I saw. And some other time I was walking around the city, I saw a couple other foreigners. But my point is, it was a very isolating situation that I was living in. The first 1 month that you get into China, you have to transition all your documents uh, to your residence permits, right? And that allows you to travel in and out of the country. Now, this is establishes that you're working in the country, and you also have to get a work permit, and then the residence permit. So that first month, you don't have your passport. You can't do a lot of things that you would have wanted to do. Um, I couldn't go visit my husband at the time. I couldn't go visit him in his city. So I was pretty much stuck. And those first 3 months, I remember just being so, like, really sad. And I don't know if a lot of expats who move to China, specifically China, they talk about that isolation. I don't know if they are able to pinpoint it and realize that it is depression. I don't think when I was in it, I don't think I realized I was depressed. It was after I came out of it, I was like, huh, I really wasn't myself. I wasn't okay. I was calling home all the time. My family and friends would try to call and talk to me. But the thing is that we're 12 hours ahead in China, right, from the western side of the world. And a lot of people tried calling me when I would usually be sleeping. So after a while, I had to switch my phone off so that it wouldn't be trying to call me when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, So almost 9 years, I've been switching my phone off when I go to bed, or my phone is on silent all the time, anyways. So, anyways, Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. That was something I thought about yesterday when we were doing that video, and the depression. How did I get out of it? That would be a really good thing to talk about. I had to make friends. I'm very social. I like to be by myself sometimes, but I think most people like that. But after a while, I needed to start making friends. So I struggled in the beginning, and I think those first 3 months, I struggled to make friends. Remember, I wasn't going into Wuhan to see my ex-husband, who was my husband at the time. I wasn't going into the city to see him. So I was really very, very lonely, you know. I was discovering a new place by myself. And I mean, at that time, I'm in my early 30s, you know. So it was a little, it was a little tough to deal with. So making friends was my first step of getting out of that depressive state. So I made friends. And once I made friends, I think that just fell into place. They would take me to KTV. They would take me to like the best tea houses. They would take me to like some of the best restaurants. They would show me around. And really and truly, they really wanted to practice their English because most of them, any English that they've learned, a lot of them, the English was really good. But it would have been through watching TV shows, not actually interacting with a native English speaker. So I made a lot of friends, and they will take me out, and we will hang out. We will go to karaoke. They call it KTV here, but karaoke all the time, and I fell in love with that. Sometimes that was probably the only thing to do. It took me to a lot of the different festivals. So actually, I went to my first Lantern Festival. It was so beautiful. We went into this beautiful open space. We wrote special letters, and then you know those lanterns that you see that it's like made out of kite paper, and it's very light. You light a candle at the base of it, and it just the heat of the candle just causes the lantern to ascend and go into the sky. So we did a lot of that. I have videos and pictures of those, but that's I don't know where that is now. But yeah, those were some of my really good memories that I made with the friends that I made in that city. They would take me shopping. They would take me to try different like Korean barbecue restaurants. There's this popular dish in China called hot pot. Really, really, really delicious. And yeah, they took me. The first time I had it was in that city, so I got to explore because of them, and it forced me to really get out of my whatever funk I was in. So if you ever move out of a country, and I think I didn't think that I would have gone through that because I had lived in the Bahamas for 4 years at that point, away from home, my home country, Trinidad. And I didn't think I would have gone through that transition or be in a space where I felt uncomfortable like that. So, but you just never know. I think everybody just has different experiences, even if you've had a prior experience that may kind of like buffer the situation that you're going to end up in. But yeah, if you have ever been in a situation where you had to travel, drop me a comment. Let me know what you went through. Tell me how you overcame that situation where you had to travel and eventually live in a new city, become an expat in that new country, new culture. I feel like China is like a different planet on itself in terms of everything just felt different. And there was so much to relearn about what life is and how life could be and what you see your life to be and where you are at that moment. So yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts on what you guys encountered when you traveled and eventually maybe lived. Because I feel like traveling is completely different from living, you know, because you really get to soak in the culture when you start living in a new environment, you know. So yeah, that's it for that one. Depression when you're living as an expat in a different country. Yeah, it's real, man. Life out here is real. Okay, y'all. Bye.